The boy is 8 years old, standing in the rain outside a roadside diner off Route 29. His name is Dylan Marsh, and his hands shake as he grips a crumpled photograph. It's 7:43 on a Tuesday evening in November, and he's been walking for 4 hours since his sister disappeared. He watches the parking lot, watches the trucks rumbling past on the highway, watches the cars that slow down but don't stop. His sneakers are soaked through. His jacket, too thin for this weather, clings to his shoulders. Water drips from his hair into his eyes, but he doesn't bother wiping it away. He's looking for someone. Anyone. Someone who will listen. The police didn't listen. The officer who came to their apartment complex took notes for 11 minutes, asked if Emma had a boyfriend, asked if she'd been acting strange lately, asked if maybe she just needed space. The officer's radio crackled with another call. He left, told Dylan's mother they'd file a report, told her Emma would probably come home by morning. But Dylan knows better. Emma wouldn't leave him. Not like this. Not without saying goodbye. So he took her photograph, the one from last year's school picture day, the one where she's smiling with braces and her hair pulled back in a ponytail, and he started walking. He walked from their apartment on Oakwood Avenue to the police station on 5th Street, 3.2 miles. When they told him to go home, he kept walking. Walked to the school where Emma was last seen. Walked past the grocery store where she said that man kept staring. Walked until his legs burned and his lungs ached and the sun dropped behind the trees. And now he's here. Route 29. A truck stop diner with flickering neon lights that spell out Rita's Place in red and blue. A place where the highway meets desperation. Then he hears it. The sound rolls in like distant thunder. Low, deep, getting closer. Dylan turns. 14 motorcycles appear through the rain, headlights cutting through the gray evening like searchlights. They move in formation, 2 columns, perfect spacing, no hesitation. Harley-Davidson Road Kings, Softails, Dynas, all black chrome and raw power. The sound of their engines fills the parking lot, drowning out the hiss of rain on asphalt. One by one, they pull into spaces near the diner entrance. Engines cut. Silence rushes back in, heavier now, like the world is holding its breath. Men dismount, leather vests, patches on their backs. Dylan can't read all the words from where he stands, but he sees the image, a shield with wings, a sword down the center. And beneath it, bold letters, Iron Sentinels MC. Protectors of the innocent. Dylan's legs move before his brain catches up. He walks straight toward them. His heart hammers against his ribs, his hands tighten around Emma's photo. Rain streams down his face. The men notice him. One by one, they stop talking, stop moving. Just watch. Dylan stops in front of the tallest one, a man with a gray beard streaked with white, a scar cutting across his left eyebrow, eyes the color of winter sky. The man wears a leather vest open over a black shirt. Across his chest, a patch reads, President. Beneath it, a name, Marcus Reaper Hall. Dylan's voice comes out smaller than he wants it to. They took my sister. The man Reaper doesn't move for 3 seconds. Then he crouches down, one knee on the wet pavement. Rain drips off the brim of his bandana. His eyes lock onto Dylan's, and for the first time in 9 hours, Dylan feels like someone is actually seeing him. When? Reaper's voice is gravel and smoke. This morning, 11:30, she was walking home from school. How old is she? 14. Her name's Emma. Reaper extends his hand. Dylan places the photograph in it. Reaper studies the image, Emma in her soccer uniform, smiling, braces catching the light. The paper is soft, edges worn like Dylan's been holding it too tight for too long. Did you call the police? Dylan nods. They said she probably ran away. They said she'd come home. Reaper's jaw tightens. A muscle twitches beneath the scar. He doesn't look away from the photo. But she didn't run away, Dylan whispers. She wouldn't leave me. Reaper stands. Water streams off his vest. He turns to the others, and without a word, 13 men form a loose circle around Dylan. Nobody speaks. The rain hammers the pavement. Somewhere in the distance, a semi-truck shifts gears on the highway. Reaper pulls a phone from his vest pocket, taps the screen twice. We're gonna find her, kid, but I need you to tell me everything. Every detail. Every face you saw today. Every car. Every word Emma said this morning before she left. Dylan's voice steadies. For the first time in 9 hours, Someone is listening, really listening. There was a van, Dylan says. White. No windows in the back. I saw it parked near the school 3 days ago. Same one drove past our house yesterday morning. Reaper's eyes sharpen. License plate? Partial. C-4-7. That's all I could see. One of the bikers steps forward, a wiry man with a silver beard, narrow shoulders, sharp eyes behind wire rim glasses. His vest reads, Road Captain, name patch, Eli Stone. I'll run it, Eli says. Reaper nods. Get inside, Dylan. We're not leaving this parking lot until we have a lead. But what Dylan doesn't know yet, what none of them know, is that Emma didn't just vanish. She was taken by someone who's done this before. Someone who's been watching her for 17 days. Someone who's taken 17 other girls before her. And someone who's already planning where to take the next one. The diner smells like burnt coffee and fried onions. Dylan sits in booth number 7, across from Reaper and Eli. The vinyl seat squeaks under him. His hands wrap around a mug of hot chocolate that appeared in front of him without him asking. A waitress, 50s, tired eyes, name tag reading. Rita sets down a plate of fries and doesn't ask for payment. On the house, she says quietly. Her hand rests on Dylan's shoulder for just a second before she walks away. Reaper opens a laptop. The screen glows pale blue in the dim diner light. Eli leans over, fingers already moving across the keyboard. C-4-7. Eli mutters. Searching Virginia DMV records. Filtering by white panel vans. The cursor blinks. Numbers scroll. Dylan watches, barely breathing. 184 registered vehicles in a 60-mile radius, Eli says. Narrowing by make and model. 41 white panel vans. Cross-reference with registered offenders, Reaper says. His voice is flat, controlled, but Dylan sees his knuckles whiten around his coffee cup. Eli types faster. The screen shifts. More numbers, more names. 19 matches, Eli says. His face darkens. 19 registered sex offenders within 60 miles who own or have owned white panel vans in the last 5 years. Dylan's stomach twists. The hot chocolate suddenly feels too sweet, too thick. Emma was scared this week, Dylan says quietly. Both men look at him. She said a man kept staring at her. At the grocery store. She said he smiled wrong. Reaper leans forward. What store? Martin's Grocery. Aisle 12. By the frozen foods. When? Saturday. Around 3 in the afternoon. Reaper texts someone. The reply comes in 14 seconds. Another biker walks through the diner door, younger, maybe 35, built like a boxer, tattoos crawling up his neck. His vest reads Sergeant-at-Arms. Name, Tommy Wrench Carver. Tommy drops a tablet on the table. Called in a favor with Martin's security manager. Got the footage from Saturday. 3 to 4 p.m., aisle 12. Dylan stares at the screen. His heart pounds so hard it hurts. The video is grainy, black and white. Timestamp in the corner. 3:14 p.m. The frozen food aisle. And they're walking past the glass doors, reaching for a bag of chicken nuggets, is Emma. Her backpack slung over one shoulder. Hair pulled back. Moving quickly, like she's in a hurry. Then the frame shifts. A man enters from the left. Mid-40s. Baseball cap pulled low, blue jacket. Jeans. He's not shopping. He's watching. His eyes track Emma as she walks down the aisle, turns the corner, disappears. The man's hand moves to his pocket. He pulls out keys. On the key ring, a white rubber fob. The shape is distinct, a rectangle with rounded edges. Van keys, Tommy says. Dylan's breath catches. That's him. Reaper rewinds the footage. Pauses on the man's face. The angle isn't great, the cap shadows most of his features, but they can see enough. Square jaw, thin lips. A mole on his left cheek, just below the eye. Run facial recognition, Reaper says. Eli's already moving. He screenshots the image, uploads it to a database Dylan doesn't understand. The screen flickers. More numbers. More waiting. Then a match. Carl Brenner. Age 46. Last known address. 1420 Oak Hill Drive, Bedford County. Registered sex offender. 2 prior convictions, both involving minors. Released on parole 8 months ago. Dylan's world tilts. 8 months. Emma's been walking to school for 8 months since they moved to this town. 8 months of walking past the same streets, the same houses, the same grocery store. 8 months of being watched. Reaper picks up his phone, dials, puts it on speaker. A woman's voice answers on the second ring. Professional. Clipped. Agent Lydia Chin, FBI Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Unit. Lydia. It's Reaper. A pause. Marcus, it's been a while. I need a favor. I'm sending you a plate, a face, and a location. I need you to move fast. Marcus, you know I can't just... Lydia. His voice hardens. She's 14 years old. She's been gone 10 hours. The first 24 are everything. You taught me that. Silence on the other end. Then, send it. Eli forwards everything: the partial plate, the grocery store footage, Carl Brenner's record, the address. I'll have a team on this within the hour, Chin says. But Marcus, you need to let us handle it. No vigilante. We're not vigilantes, Reaper interrupts. We're citizens providing intel. That's all. Marcus. 1 hour, Lydia. After that, we move with or without you. He hangs up. Dylan looks at him. What if she says no? Reaper's eyes meet his. She won't. But the question underneath, the one Dylan doesn't ask out loud, hangs in the air anyway. What if they're already too late? What if Emma's already gone? What if the man in the blue jacket has already done what men like him do? Reaper seems to read his mind. Your sister's smart, Dylan. She left you clues. The van, the man at the store. She wanted someone to notice. That means she's still thinking, still fighting. We're gonna find her. Dylan nods, but his hands shake around the mug. This isn't just Route 29. This could be any highway rest stop, any diner, any place a desperate kid might go looking for help. Think about your own city. Think about the places you pass every day. Where would you tell a kid to run if they were in danger? Where's the one spot someone might actually listen? Drop your answer below. Share this with someone who needs to know there are still people who give a damn. Outside, the rain picks up. The parking lot fills with the sound of water on metal, on pavement, on the leather seats of 14 motorcycles lined up like soldiers. Inside booth 7, Dylan watches Reaper and Eli work. Watches them pull up maps, satellite images, property records. Watches them make call after call to other chapters, to contacts in law enforcement, to people Dylan doesn't know but who seem to owe Reaper favors. And slowly, piece by piece, a picture forms. Carl Brenner's last known address in Bedford County is a rental property, small house, 1 bedroom. He lived there for 6 months after his release, then disappeared. Stopped reporting to his parole officer 3 months ago. Warrant issued. Nobody followed up. But Eli digs deeper. Property records show Brenner's uncle owned a commercial lot 40 miles north, Eli says. Old meat packing plant. Shut down 6 years ago. County tried to sell it twice. No buyers. Who owns it now? Reaper asks. Still in the family estate. Brenner's uncle died 2 years ago. Properties in probate. No active management. Perfect place to hide. Reaper stands. Tommy, get the bikes ready. Eli, send those coordinates to Chin. Dylan, he looks at the boy. You stay here with Rita. You understand? Dylan's jaw sets. I want to help. You already did. You gave us everything we needed. But before anyone can move, Eli's phone buzzes. He looks at the screen. His face goes pale. Marcus, you need to see this. He turns the tablet around. It's a news article. Local paper. Dated 6 weeks ago. Bedford County girl, 15, missing since August. Family pleads for information. Below the headline, a photo. Different girl. Different face. But the same desperate eyes Dylan sees in the mirror. Reaper scrolls down. Another article. 3 months ago. Lynchburg teen vanishes after school. Police investigate. Another photo. Another family. Another missing girl. Eli's voice drops. There are 17 cases, Marcus. 17 girls in the last 2 years. All within a 100-mile radius. All between 13 and 16. All with the same M.O. Vanished during daylight hours. Last seen near schools or public places. No witnesses. No evidence. Until now. Dylan feels the blood drain from his face. 17? Reaper's hand grips the edge of the table. Where are they now? 6 were found, Eli says quietly. Alive. Dropped at hospitals or bus stations weeks later. Traumatized but alive. 11 are still missing. The diner goes quiet. Even the clatter of dishes from the kitchen seems to fade. Emma's number 18, Dylan whispers. Reaper looks at him. Not if we move now. He pulls out his phone. Dials. This time, a different number. Smoke, it's Reaper. I need a full chapter mobilization. Route 29 diner. 30 minutes. Bring everyone. He hangs up. Makes another call. Hammer. Wake up the northern chapters. Virginia. West Virginia. Maryland. I need eyes on every truck stop, motel, and rest area between here and the Pennsylvania line. Another call. Lydia. It's me again. I'm sending you 17 case files. I need you to cross-reference with Brenner. This isn't one girl. This is a pattern. He ends the call. Looks at Eli. How fast can you map every property linked to Brenner or his family? Give me 20 minutes. You have 10. Tommy's already out the door, checking the bikes, making calls of his own. Through the diner window, Dylan watches more motorcycles arrive. 3, then 6, then 12. The parking lot fills with the low rumble of engines, the flash of headlights cutting through rain. By the time Eli finishes his search, there are 42 iron sentinels standing in the rain outside Rita's place. 42 men in leather vests. 42 men who dropped everything: jobs, dinners, sleep, because an 8-year-old boy said 3 words. They took my sister. Reaper steps outside. The rain has softened to a drizzle. The men form a semicircle around him. Nobody speaks. Her name is Emma Marsh, Reaper says. His voice carries across the lot. 14 years old. Taken this morning at 11:30. We have a suspect. We have a location. FBI's en route, but we don't wait. We move now. 3 teams. Eli will coordinate. Tommy, you're with me. The rest of you fan out. Every gas station, every motel, every rest stop within 50 miles. You see a white van, you call it in. You see this man. He holds up his phone, Carl Brenner's face filling the screen. You do not engage. You call me. Understand? A chorus of voices. Yes, sir. She's been gone 11 hours. Every minute matters. Let's bring her home. The men move as one. Engines roar to life. 14 bikes head north. 12 head east. 8 head west. The remaining 8 stay with Reaper. Dylan watches from the diner window. Rita stands beside him, her hand on his shoulder. They're gonna find her, Rita says softly. Dylan wants to believe her. He does. But the number 17 keeps circling in his mind. 17 other girls. 6 found. 11 still missing. Which one will Emma be? Reaper walks back inside, crouches in front of Dylan. I need you to do something for me. Anything. I need you to remember. Close your eyes. Think about this morning. Emma left for school. What time? Dylan closes his eyes. 7:45. What was she wearing? Her blue hoodie, the one with the Wildcats logo. Black jeans, white sneakers. Good. What did she say before she left? Dylan's throat tightens. He sees her, standing at the door, backpack over one shoulder, hair pulled back. She said, "Don't forget to feed Bandit. That's our cat." And then she said, "Love you, doofus." His voice cracks on the last word. Did she seem scared? Nervous? Dylan opens his eyes. She kept looking out the window, like she was checking if someone was out there. Did you see anyone? No. But I heard a car engine. Idling, like it was waiting. Reaper's eyes sharpen. What kind of engine? I don't know. Diesel, maybe? Deep. Rattling a little. That's good, Dylan. That's real good. Eli looks up from his laptop. Diesel panel vans. Narrowing search. The list shrinks. 19 vehicles become 11. 11 becomes 7. Brenner's uncle owned a 2009 Ford Econoline, Eli says. Diesel, registered to the estate, never transferred. Where is it now? Last known location. Eli pulls up a map. Impound lot in Roanoke, towed 4 months ago for expired tags. So he got another one, Tommy says. Or, he's using something else, Reaper mutters. Eli, Check rental companies. Stolen vehicle reports. Anything diesel, panel van, white, within the last 6 months. Eli's fingers fly. The room fills with the click of keys, the hum of the laptop fan. Then Eli stops. Got it. Everyone looks at him. Stolen vehicle report filed 9 days ago. 2011 Chevy Express. White, diesel, taken from a community parking lot in Farmville. Surveillance footage shows a male, mid-40s, baseball cap, drives off at 2:17 a.m. That's him, Reaper says. Plate number? Tommy asks. Reported as C47NR2. Dylan's heart stops. C47. The partial plate he saw. Where's the meatpacking plant? Reaper asks. Eli pulls up the map. A red pin drops on the screen. 43 miles north. Off Route 460. Middle of nowhere. Nearest town is 8 miles away. Reaper looks at his watch. 11:42 p.m. FBI won't have a team there for another hour minimum. We can be there in 30 minutes. Tommy nods. Let's move. But Reaper hesitates. He looks at Dylan. You sure about this, kid? You sure it was him? Dylan doesn't hesitate. I'm sure. Reaper stands, pulls out his phone, calls Agent Chin. Lydia, we have a location. Old meatpacking plant, Route 460, mile marker 73. Suspect vehicle matches the description. We're moving now. Marcus, wait for backup. Can't do that. Marcus, if it were your kid, Lydia, would you wait? Silence. I'll have a team there in 45 minutes. Do not engage until we arrive. 45 minutes might be too late. He hangs up. Rita steps forward. I'm driving the boy. Reaper starts to object, but Rita cuts him off. He walked 4 hours in the rain to find someone who'd listen. He deserves to be there when you bring her home. Reaper looks at Dylan. The kid's jaw is set. His hands have stopped shaking. All right, Reaper says, but you stay in the car. Both of you, no matter what happens. Dylan nods. They move. 8 motorcycles and Rita's pickup truck roll out of the parking lot at 11:51 p.m. The rain has stopped. The sky is black, starless. The highway stretches ahead like a ribbon of wet asphalt, cutting through endless trees. Dylan sits in the passenger seat of Rita's truck. His hands grip Emma's photo. The edges are frayed now, soft from being held too long. He stares at her face. Her smile, her braces. The way her eyes crinkle at the corners when she laughs. She's gonna be okay, Rita says. Dylan doesn't answer. He's thinking about something Emma told him 2 weeks ago. They were watching TV. Some crime show. A girl got kidnapped. Emma turned to him and said, if that ever happens to me, don't let them forget about me. Keep looking. Don't stop. He didn't think anything of it at the time. Just a random comment. But now it feels like she knew. Like she was preparing him. She knew, Dylan whispers. Rita glances at him. What? Emma. She knew someone was watching her. That's why she told me about the man at the store. That's why she kept looking out the window. She was leaving me clues. Rita's hands tighten on the steering wheel. Then she's smart, and smart girls survive. Dylan hopes she's right. The convoy moves fast. 80 miles per hour on empty highway. The bikes form a V formation, headlights cutting through the dark. Reaper leads. Tommy rides beside him. The others fan out behind. At mile marker 68, Eli's voice crackles over the radio. Thermal satellite imagery shows 3 heat signatures inside the plant. 2 stationary, 1 moving. Reaper's voice comes back. Can you confirm? Negative. Image resolution isn't high enough, but there are definitely people inside. 2 stationary, 1 moving. Dylan's stomach twists. Please let one of them be Emma. Please let her still be alive. At mile marker 73, the convoy slows. Reaper raises a fist. The bikes pull off the highway onto a gravel access road. Headlights cut off. Engines die. Silence rushes in. The meatpacking plant sits 300 yards ahead. A massive concrete structure, 2 stories tall. Windows boarded up, metal roof sagging in places. Weeds grow through cracks in the parking lot. A chain-link fence surrounds the property, rusted and leaning. And parked near the loading dock, Barely visible in the moonlight is a white panel van. Reaper dismounts, pulls out binoculars, studies the building. 2 entrances, he mutters. Front doors chained. Loading dock on the east side. 1 vehicle. Lights on inside 2nd floor, northwest corner. Tommy moves beside him. Brenner? Has to be. What's the play? Reaper lowers the binoculars. We go in quiet. Confirm Emma's inside. Extract her. Chin's team arrives. They take Brenner. And if he resists? Reaper's jaw tightens. Then we make sure he doesn't hurt anyone else. Rita's truck pulls up behind the bikes. Dylan starts to open the door, but Rita grabs his arm. You promised, she says. You stay in the truck. But, Dylan, her voice is firm. Let them do their job. Reluctantly, Dylan nods. Reaper approaches the truck, leans in through the window. Stay here. Doors locked. Engine running. If anything goes wrong, you drive. Don't stop. Don't look back. Understand? Rita nods. Reaper looks at Dylan. We're bringing her home, kid. Dylan's voice is barely a whisper. Promise? Reaper doesn't answer. Because promises are dangerous when you don't know if you can keep them. He turns away. The 8 iron sentinels move toward the plant. They split into 2 groups. 4 head for the loading dock. 4 circle around to the north side. No lights, no sound, just shadows moving through darkness. Dylan watches from the truck. His heart pounds so hard it hurts. His hands won't stop shaking. Rita reaches over, squeezes his shoulder. Breathe, honey. He tries, but every breath feels like drowning. The men reach the loading dock. Tommy pulls a crowbar from his vest, slides it into the gap between the metal door and the frame. 1 hard pull, the lock snaps. The door swings open. Darkness inside. Reaper pulls a flashlight from his belt, clicks it on. The beam cuts through dust and shadow, illuminating rusted hooks hanging from the ceiling, old conveyor belts, broken pallets stacked against the walls. They move inside. The air smells like mold and rust and something else, something chemical, sweet and sharp at the same time. Chloroform, Tommy whispers. Reaper's jaw tightens. He raises a fist. The men stop. Listen. Somewhere above them, 2nd floor, a voice. Low. Male. Talking to someone. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Reaper points up. The men move toward a metal staircase in the corner. Each step is careful, deliberate. The stairs creak under their weight, but the voice upstairs doesn't stop talking. Last chance. Cooperate, and I let you go. They reach the 2nd floor. A hallway. Doors on both sides. Most of them open, revealing empty rooms stripped of equipment. But at the end of the hall, 1 door is closed. Light spills from the gap beneath it. Reaper moves forward. The others follow. They stop outside the door. Reaper counts down with his fingers. 3, 2, 1. Tommy kicks the door open. The room beyond is small. 10 by 12 feet, concrete walls. A single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. And in the center, tied to a metal chair with zip ties around her wrists and ankles, is Emma Marsh. She's alive. Her blue hoodie is torn at the sleeve. Her face is bruised. Blood crusts her upper lip, but her eyes wide, terrified, defiant lock onto Reaper. And standing behind her, 1 hand gripping her shoulder, the other holding a knife to her throat, is Carl Brenner. He's exactly like the photo. Baseball cap, blue jacket, mole on his left cheek. But up close, Dylan can see more the sweat on his forehead, the yellowed teeth, the way his hand shakes slightly as he holds the blade. Back off, Brenner says. His voice is high, panicked. I'll do it. I swear I'll do it. Reaper raises both hands. Easy. Nobody's here to hurt you. Bullshit. You're cops. We're not cops. Then who are you? Friends. Here for the girl. Brenner's laugh is sharp and bitter. Friends. Right? You think I'm stupid? I think you're smart, Reaper says calmly. Smart enough to know this is over. FBI's on the way. You've got maybe 10 minutes before this place is surrounded. You let her go now. Walk out with your hands up. You might survive this. Survive? Brenner's voice cracks. I'm going back to prison. You know what they do to guys like me in there? Better than what we'll do if you hurt her. Brenner presses the knife harder against Emma's throat. She winces. A thin line of blood appears. Back off. Brenner screams. Tommy moves to the left. Another biker, Hawk, tattooed and broad-shouldered, moves to the right. They're flanking him. Slowly, carefully. Brenner notices. Stop. Stop moving, or I cut her. Reaper's voice stays calm. Carl, listen to me. You heard her. You don't walk out of here. You understand that, right? These men, they're fathers, uncles, brothers. You heard her. I won't be able to stop them. I don't care. Yes, you do. Otherwise, you'd have done it already. Brenner's hand shakes harder. Emma's eyes dart between the men. She's trying to stay still, trying not to cry. But Dylan can see the fear in her face even from the video feed Eli is streaming to Rita's truck. Because yes, Eli set up a body cam before they went in. And yes, Dylan is watching every second. Rita tries to block the phone, but Dylan shoves her hand away. Let me see, he hisses. On the screen, Reaper takes a step forward. You know what happens next, Carl. You know how this ends. You can make it easy, or you can make it hard. Your choice. I said back off. But Reaper doesn't stop. He takes another step. And in that moment, that split second when Brenner's attention shifts to Reaper, Tommy moves. Fast. He closes the distance in 2 strides. His hand shoots out, grabs Brenner's wrist, twists hard. The knife clatters to the floor. Brenner screams. Tommy wrenches his arm behind his back, slams him face first into the concrete wall. Brenner crumples. Hawk is already at Emma's side, cutting the zip ties with a folding knife. Her hands come free. Her legs, she collapses forward, and Hawk catches her. I got you, he says quietly. You're safe. Emma sobs into his shoulder. Reaper picks up Brenner's knife, looks down at the man on the floor. Brenner's nose is bleeding. His lip is split, but he's conscious, staring up at Reaper with wild, terrified eyes. Please. Brenner whimpers. Please don't. Shut up, Reaper says. He pulls out his phone, calls Agent Chin. We have her. She's alive. Northwest corner, 2nd floor. Suspect in custody. You've got 5 minutes to get here before I let my guys finish what they started. He hangs up. Tommy zip ties Brenner's hands behind his back, drags him to a sitting position against the wall. You're gonna wait right here, Tommy says. And you're gonna hope the FBI gets here before we change our minds. Outside, Dylan is already out of the truck, running toward the plant. Rita shouts after him, but he doesn't stop. He sprints across the gravel lot, through the loading dock door, up the metal stairs. He reaches the 2nd floor, sees the open door, the light, and then he sees her. Emma. Sitting on the floor, Hawk's jacket wrapped around her shoulders, her face bruised and tear-stained. But alive. Emma. She looks up, her eyes widen. Dylan? He runs to her, collapses beside her, throws his arms around her neck. She holds him, and for the first time in 13 hours, Dylan feels like he can breathe. You found me, Emma whispers. I told you I would. She pulls back, looks at him, at the iron sentinels standing around them. Who are they? Friends, Dylan says. Reaper crouches down. You okay, Emma? She nods, then shakes her head, then just cries. Let it out, Reaper says quietly. You're safe now. In the distance, sirens wail. Red and blue lights flicker through the boarded windows. The FBI has arrived. You ever felt that instinct? That moment when your gut screams that something's wrong before your brain catches up? Maybe you saw someone staring too long. Maybe you felt eyes on you in a parking lot. Maybe a car followed you 3 turns too many. Emma felt it. Dylan felt it. And because they paid attention, because they remembered the details, she's alive. Think about the last time your instincts screamed danger. Did you listen? Drop your story below. When did you trust your gut and what happened? Agent Lydia Chin enters the meatpacking plant with 6 FBI agents behind her. Tactical vests, weapons drawn. They sweep the building floor by floor until they reach the 2nd level. Chin steps into the room, takes in the scene. Emma on the floor, wrapped in a biker's jacket. Dylan beside her. 8 iron sentinels standing in a protective circle. And Carl Brenner, zip-tied and bleeding, slumped against the wall. She holsters her weapon. Marcus. Lydia. You couldn't wait 45 minutes? No. Chin sighs. But there's no anger in it. She walks to Emma, crouches down. Hi, Emma. I'm Agent Chin. Can you walk? Emma nods. Okay, let's get you outside. Paramedics are here. They're gonna check you out, make sure you're okay. Two agents help Emma to her feet. She leans on Dylan as they walk toward the stairs. Hawk follows, keeping pace. Chin turns to Brenner. Carl Brenner, you're under arrest for kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, and about 17 other charges I'll add once I'm done processing this scene. She signals to two agents. They haul Brenner to his feet, read him his rights, drag him toward the door. As Brenner passes Reaper, he spits blood onto the floor. You broke my nose, Brenner mutters. You're lucky that's all I broke, Tommy says. Chen shoots Tommy a warning look, then turns back to Reaper. We need statements. From all of you. You'll get them. And Marcus, her voice drops. Thank you. Reaper nods. Find the others. What? 17 girls. 6 were found. 11 are still missing. Brenner knows where they are. Chen's face hardens. We'll make him talk. You better. Outside, the parking lot has transformed into a command center. FBI vehicles, ambulances, state police cruisers, news vans with satellite dishes. Because word got out. A little boy walked 4 hours in the rain to find help. A motorcycle club mobilized 42 members in under an hour. And 14 hours after Emma Marsh disappeared, she was found alive. That's the kind of story that spreads. By midnight, local news crews are broadcasting live from Route 460. By 1 a.m., regional networks pick it up. By 3 a.m., it's national. Little boy whispered, they took my sister to a biker. What happened next became national news. Dylan sits in the back of an ambulance. A paramedic checks his vitals, blood pressure, heart rate, temperature. He's dehydrated, exhausted. His feet are blistered from walking. But he's smiling. Because 10 feet away, in another ambulance, Emma sits wrapped in a blanket. A female paramedic treats the cut on her throat. Another checks her pupils for signs of concussion. She looks over at Dylan. Their eyes meet. She mouths 2 words. Thank you. Dylan's throat tightens. He nods. Reaper approaches. Stands beside the ambulance. How you holding up, kid? Dylan wipes his eyes. I'm okay. You did good tonight. I just told you what I saw. That's all we needed. A reporter approaches young woman, microphone in hand, cameraman trailing behind her. Excuse me, are you with the Iron Sentinels? Reaper turns. His face is unreadable. Who's asking? Jessica Torres, Channel 7 News. Can I ask you a few questions? No. The public deserves to know. The public can read the FBI report. We're done here. He walks away. The reporter tries to follow, but Tommy steps into her path. He said no. She backs off. But the damage is done. Cameras are already rolling. Phones are already recording. By morning, the Iron Sentinels patches will be on every screen in America. Some will call them heroes. Others will call them vigilantes. Reaper doesn't care about either label. He cares about one thing. Emma Marsh is alive. At 2:47 a.m., Agent Chin emerges from the meatpacking plant. Her face is grim. She walks straight to Reaper. We found evidence, she says quietly. Documents, photos, locations. Brenner kept records of every girl he took. All 17? And more. We're estimating at least 23 victims over the last 3 years. Reaper's hands curl into fists. Where are the others? We're working on it. Some of the locations are coded. It'll take time. How much time? Days. Maybe weeks. You don't have weeks, Lydia. Some of those girls might still be alive. I know. Then make him talk. Chin's jaw tightens. We will. She walks back to the FBI vehicles. Reaper watches her go, then turns to Eli. Give me everything we found tonight. Photos, files, locations, Brenner's contacts, everything. Marcus, the FBI. The FBI moves slow. We don't. Eli nods. By dawn, the Iron Sentinels have compiled their own database. 47 pages of evidence, surveillance photos, license plates, property records, names. They send it to every chapter in the country. And the message is clear. Find them. 3 days later, the first girl is found, 16 years old, held in a storage unit in West Virginia, alive. 5 days later, 2 more. Sisters, 13 and 15, locked in a basement in Maryland, alive. 1 week later, another 4, scattered across Pennsylvania and Ohio, all alive. By the end of the month, 19 of the 23 victims have been recovered. 4 are still missing. The FBI credits anonymous tips for the discoveries. But everyone knows the truth. The Iron Sentinels didn't stop when Emma was found. They kept looking. Because that's what you do when a kid asks for help. You don't stop until every last one is safe. Now here's the question. You're standing in that meatpacking plant. Emma's tied to a chair. Brenner has a knife to her throat. FBI says wait for backup 20 minutes out. But you hear her crying. You see the knife. You've got 2 choices. Wait for backup. It's safer. It's legal. Nobody gets hurt. Or go in now. It's riskier. You might spook Brenner. But every second you wait is another second that blade is at her throat. You've got 10 seconds to decide. Do you wait for backup, or do you move now? Think about it. What would you do? Drop your answer below. The days that follow blur together. Dylan and Emma are taken to a hospital. Both are treated for dehydration and shock. Emma undergoes a full medical evaluation. Physically, she'll heal. The bruises will fade. The cut on her throat will scar, but it's shallow. The emotional wounds will take longer. A therapist visits, a social worker, a victim's advocate. They all say the same thing. You're safe now. You're going to be okay. Emma nods. But late at night, when the hospital room is dark and quiet, she stares at the ceiling and sees Carl Brenner's face. Hears his voice. Feels the cold steel of the knife. Dylan sleeps in a chair beside her bed. Every night, he refuses to leave. I'm not going anywhere, he tells her. And he doesn't. Their mother arrives the next morning. She's a thin woman in her late 30s, dark circles under her eyes, hands that won't stop shaking. Her name is Karen. She works 2 jobs, morning shift at a diner, evening shift cleaning office buildings. She collapses beside Emma's bed, holds her daughter, sobs into her hair. I'm sorry, Karen whispers. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, Mom, Emma says. But Karen can't stop apologizing because she wasn't there. Because she didn't see the signs. Because she believed the police when they said Emma probably ran away. Dylan watches his mother cry, watches Emma try to comfort her. And he thinks about the man who did listen. Reaper. The man with the scar and the gray beard and the eyes that saw Dylan when everyone else looked past him. 3 days after Emma's rescue, Reaper visits the hospital. He brings flowers, simple daisies, in a plastic vase. He knocks on the door frame. Mind if I come in? Emma looks up. Recognition flashes in her eyes. You're the one who found me. Your brother found you. I just drove the bike. Emma smiles. It's small, fragile, but real. Reaper steps inside. Sets the flowers on the table beside her bed. How you feeling? Better. Good. He looks at Dylan. And you? I'm okay. Reaper nods. Then he pulls something from his vest pocket. A small patch. It's rectangular, about 3 inches wide, embroidered with silver thread. The words read, Honorary Sentinel Protector's Voice. He hands it to Dylan. You spoke up when it mattered, Reaper says. Took guts. The kind of guts a lot of grown men don't have. Dylan stares at the patch. His throat tightens. What is it? It means you're one of us. Not official, you're too young for that. But honorary means if you ever need help, you call. Means we got your back. Understand? Dylan nods. He turns the patch over in his hands. The stitching is precise. The weight of it feels important. Thank you, Dylan whispers. Reaper ruffles his hair, then turns to Emma. You take care of yourself, kid. And if you ever need to talk about what happened, about anything, you call me, day or night. He leaves a card on the table. His number is handwritten on the back. Thank you, Emma says. Reaper nods. And then he's gone. Karen picks up the card, reads the number. Who is he? The man who saved Emma, Dylan says. But he's a biker, part of a gang. Not a gang, Mom, a club, and they're good people. Karen doesn't argue, because the proof is sitting right in front of her. Emma is alive, Dylan is safe, and the Iron Sentinels are the reason why. 2 weeks later, Emma is released from the hospital. She and Dylan return to their apartment on Oakwood Avenue. The place looks the same, but everything feels different. Emma can't walk to school anymore. Not alone. Not yet. So Dylan walks with her. Every morning, every afternoon. And on the first day back, when Emma freezes halfway down the block, when she sees a white van parked on the street, and her breath catches, and her hands start shaking, Dylan takes her hand. It's okay, he says. I'm here. She squeezes his hand, breathes, keeps walking. The van drives away. It's just a plumber's vehicle. Logo on the side, tools in the back. But Emma's heart doesn't stop racing for another 10 minutes. Therapy helps. Slowly, week by week, session by session, Emma learns to manage the fear, learns to separate past from present, learns to trust that she's safe. But some nights, she still wakes up screaming. And every time, Dylan is there. Carl Brenner's trial begins 4 months later. He pleads not guilty. His lawyer argues entrapment, argues illegal search and seizure, argues that the Iron Sentinels had no right to enter the property without a warrant. The judge dismisses every motion. The evidence is overwhelming. Surveillance footage, DNA, 17 testimonies from survivors, documents found in Brenner's possession detailing every abduction. The trial lasts 3 weeks. The jury deliberates for 90 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Brenner is sentenced to 470 years in prison without the possibility of parole. Emma doesn't attend the trial. She can't. Not yet. But Dylan does. He sits in the gallery with Karen and Reaper, watches Brenner shuffle into the courtroom in an orange jumpsuit and chains, watches him avoid eye contact with everyone. When the verdict is read, Brenner's face goes blank. No tears, no outburst, just nothing. Dylan feels a hand on his shoulder. It's Reaper. It's over, Reaper says quietly. Dylan nods. But it's not really over. Not for Emma. Not for the other girls. Not for the families who are still searching for the 4 who haven't been found. It's just paused. 6 months after Emma's rescue, something shifts. She starts painting dark, abstract pieces at first, jagged lines, harsh colors, shapes that feel like screaming. But slowly, the paintings change. Softer edges, brighter colors, images of hands reaching toward light. She doesn't talk about what the paintings mean, but Dylan understands. She's healing. 1 year after the rescue, Emma stands in front of her school. It's a Tuesday morning, the same day of the week she was taken. She hesitates at the entrance. Dylan stands beside her. You don't have to do this today. Yes, I do. She takes a breath, steps through the door. And for the first time in a year, she walks through the halls without looking over her shoulder. That same week, the Iron Sentinels host an event at their clubhouse, a fundraiser for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. 200 people attend, families of survivors, local community members. Even Agent Lydia Chin shows up. Dylan and Emma are guests of honor. Reaper stands at a makeshift podium in the center of the clubhouse. The room falls quiet. A year ago, an 8-year-old kid walked 4 hours in the rain to ask for help, Reaper says. His voice carries across the room. He didn't give up, didn't stop looking, and because of that, his sister is alive. He gestures to Dylan and Emma. Stand up, you two. Reluctantly, they do. The room erupts in applause. Emma's face flushes. She looks at the floor. But Dylan sees the small smile tugging at the corner of her mouth. When the applause fades, Reaper continues. What happened to Emma happens to thousands of kids every year. Most don't come home. We can't change that. But we can do something. We can pay attention. We can listen. We can act. He holds up a flyer. It's a simple design, black and white, bold letters. If you see something, say something. Call this number. The number listed is a hotline, staffed by volunteers, funded by donations from events like this. We're not cops, Reaper says. We're not social workers. We're just people who give a damn. And if more people gave a damn, maybe fewer kids would disappear. More applause. Later, as the event winds down, Dylan stands outside the clubhouse. The night air is cool. Stars scatter across the sky. Emma steps out beside him. You okay? Dylan asks. Yeah. You? Yeah. They stand in silence for a moment. I've been thinking, Emma says, about what I want to do. After high school. What? I want to help kids. Like me. Kids who got taken. Kids who got away. I want to be the person who listens. Dylan looks at her. Like Reaper. Like Reaper. She smiles. And this time, it reaches her eyes. Inside, the music starts up. Someone cranks a guitar amp. Laughter spills out into the night. Dylan pulls the patch from his pocket, the one Reaper gave him a year ago. Honorary Sentinel Protector's voice. He's carried it every day since. You think I'll ever get to be a real member? Dylan asks. Emma nudges him. You already are, doofus. He grins. 2 years later, the final missing girl is found. Her name is Sophia. She's 17 now. She was 14 when Brenner took her. She's found in an abandoned cabin in rural Kentucky, malnourished, traumatized, but alive. The Iron Sentinels were involved in the search, not officially, but intel they gathered license plates, property records, witness statements led authorities to the location. Sophia is reunited with her family. The news covers it for one day, then moves on. But for Sophia's family, that day is everything. Dylan watches the coverage on TV. Emma sits beside him. That's all of them, Emma says quietly. Yeah. We did it. Reaper did it. No, Emma says. You did it. You started this. Dylan doesn't know how to respond to that, so he doesn't. But he thinks about it. About the night he walked 4 hours in the rain. About the moment he saw those 14 motorcycles pull into Rita's place. About the look in Reaper's eyes when Dylan said 3 words. They took my sister. And Reaper listened. That's all it took. Someone who listened. 3 years after Emma's rescue, Dylan turns 11. Emma is 17. She's a senior in high school. Straight A's. Plans to study social work in college. She still paints. Still has nightmares sometimes. But she's learned to live with them. Dylan still carries the patch. And once a month, he and Emma visit the Iron Sentinels clubhouse. They help organize fundraisers, answer phones on the hotline, talk to other survivors. Because they know what it's like. They know what it means to be seen, to be heard, to be saved. One Saturday afternoon, Dylan is at the clubhouse when a call comes in. It's a girl, 14 years old, voice shaking. Someone's following me, she whispers. I don't know what to do. Dylan takes the call. Where are you? He asks calmly. Corner of 5th and Maple. There's a guy in a gray car. He's been following me for 6 blocks. Okay, listen to me. Walk into the nearest public place. Coffee shop, store, anywhere with people. Stay on the phone with me. Okay. He hears her breathing. Hears the sound of a door chime. I'm inside a drugstore. Good. Tell the clerk someone's following you. Ask them to call the police. Okay. Dylan stays on the line for 11 minutes. Until the police arrive. Until the girl is safe. When the call ends, Reaper walks over. Nice work. Dylan shrugs. Just did what you taught me. Reaper smiles. You're gonna be good at this, kid. At what? Listening. And maybe that's the point of this whole story. Not the motorcycles, or the dramatic rescue, or the national news coverage. But the listening. The moment when someone who's scared and alone finds someone who gives a damn. That's what changes everything. So, here's the final question. Dylan's story started something. The Iron Sentinels formed a national network to protect kids. Emma's working toward a career helping survivors. Hundreds of families have been reunited because people paid attention. But where does it go from here? What happens next? Option A. The Sentinels expand the program nationwide, training other clubs to respond to abductions. Option B. Dylan starts a foundation specifically for kids to report suspicious activity separate from police. Option C. Emma testifies before Congress, pushing for faster response protocols in missing children cases. Drop A, B, or C below. First person to guess what really happened gets pinned in a shout-out in tomorrow's video. Make your call now. 5 years after that night at Rita's place, Dylan is 13. Emma is 19, studying social work at the State University. And the story that became national news has faded from headlines. But the impact hasn't. The Iron Sentinel's Child Protection Network now operates in 43 states. Over 200 motorcycle clubs have joined the alliance. They call it the Sentinel Watch Initiative. It works like this. Any child can call the hotline, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and within minutes, the nearest club chapter is notified. They don't replace law enforcement. They supplement it. They search. They canvass neighborhoods. They knock on doors. They follow leads that cops don't have time for. And in the 5 years since Emma's rescue, the Sentinel Watch Initiative has assisted in the recovery of 137 missing children. 137 families reunited. 137 kids who came home. Dylan volunteers at the hotline every Saturday. He's trained in crisis communication, trained in de-escalation, trained in how to keep a scared kid calm while help is on the way. He's taken 411 calls in the last 2 years. Not all of them are emergencies. Some are kids who just need someone to talk to, kids who are scared or lonely or being bullied. Dylan listens. Because that's what Reaper taught him. Listening saves lives. Emma's path is different, but parallel. She's working on her degree, but she's also started a blog. It's called After the Van. She writes about her experience, about the fear, the recovery, the therapy, the nightmares that still come sometimes. She writes about what it's like to be a survivor. And she's not alone. 32 other survivors have contributed to the blog. Girls and boys who were taken and found, who lived through nightmare and came out the other side. The blog has 73,000 followers. Because people need to hear these stories. Not the sanitized news version. Not the rescued and everything's fine narrative. The real story. The messy, complicated, ongoing process of healing. One of Emma's posts goes viral. It's called The Man in the Blue Jacket. She describes Carl Brenner, not as a monster, but as a person, a damaged, dangerous person who made horrific choices. Humanizing him doesn't excuse what he did, she writes. But it reminds us that predators don't always look like monsters. They look like neighbors, co-workers, the guy at the grocery store. That's what makes them dangerous. That's why we have to pay attention. The post is shared 42,000 times. News outlets reach out for interviews. Emma declines most of them, but she agrees to one. It's a podcast, long form, 2 hours. The host is respectful, asks thoughtful questions, gives Emma space to tell her story in her own words. At the end of the interview, the host asks, "What do you want people to take away from this?" Emma doesn't hesitate. Pay attention. If you see a kid who looks scared, ask if they're okay. If you see someone watching kids a little too closely, say something. If a child tells you something's wrong, believe them. Don't wait for proof. Don't assume someone else will handle it. You might be the only person who listens, and that might be the thing that saves their life. The episode is downloaded 391,000 times in the first week. Emma's words reach people, and some of those people act. 6 months after the podcast airs, a woman in Oregon notices a man taking photos of children at a playground. She reports it. Police investigate. The man is arrested. They find 12,000 images on his computer. Evidence links him to 3 unsolved abductions. The woman credits Emma's podcast with giving her the courage to call. That's the ripple effect. One girl's story, one boy's determination, one biker who listened. And now, thousands of people paying attention. Dylan sits in the clubhouse on a Saturday afternoon. He's answering emails, follow-ups from hotline calls, thank you notes from families, requests for information about the Sentinel Watch Initiative. Reaper walks over, sits down beside him. "You hear about Oregon?" Dylan nods. "Emma told me. She's doing good work." "So are you." Reaper smiles. "We all are, kid." Dylan looks at him. At the gray beard, now more white than gray. At the scar across his eyebrow. At the lines around his eyes that seem deeper than they were 5 years ago. You ever think about that night? Dylan asks. At Rita's place? Every day. Why'd you listen? I was just some kid. You didn't know me. Didn't know Emma. Why'd you stop? Reaper is quiet for a moment. Then, because someone stopped for me once. Dylan blinks. What? Long time ago. I was 17. Got jumped by 6 guys outside a bar. They were gonna kill me. But this old man, Vietnam vet, walked with a cane. He stepped in. Told them to back off. They laughed at him. So he pulled a .45 from his coat. They stopped laughing. Reaper's eyes go distant. Remembering. That man saved my life. Didn't know me. Didn't know me anything. But he stopped. And after, when I asked him why, you know what he said? Dylan shakes his head. He said, because I could. That's it. No big speech. No philosophy. Just because he could. Reaper looks at Dylan. That's why I stopped for you, kid. Because I could. Dylan's throat tightens. Thank you, he whispers. Don't thank me. Pay it forward. Dylan nods. And he will. Because that's how it works. One person listens. One person acts. And the ripple spreads. 7 years after Emma's rescue, Dylan is 15. He's in high school now. Honor roll. Volunteers 20 hours a week at the Sentinel Watch hotline. Plans to study criminal justice in college. He still carries the patch. Honorary Sentinel Protector's voice. But now he wears it, sewn onto a denim jacket Reaper gave him last year. Emma is 21. She's graduated with her degree in social work. She's been hired by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children as a victim's advocate. Her job is to work with families, to guide them through the nightmare of having a child go missing, to be the person who listens when everyone else has moved on. She's good at it. Because she knows what it feels like. Carl Brenner is still in prison. He'll die there. Occasionally, reporters request interviews. He declines. Occasionally, other inmates target him. He survives. Barely. Dylan doesn't think about him much anymore. Emma does. Sometimes. Late at night. When the nightmares come. But less often now. Therapy helps. Time helps. The work helps. One afternoon, Emma gets a call. It's from a woman in Texas. Her daughter is missing. 14 years old. Vanished after school. The police are investigating. But it's been 6 hours. No leads, no witnesses. The mother is desperate. I don't know what to do. The woman sobs. Everyone keeps telling me to wait, to stay calm. But I can't. I can't just sit here. Emma's voice is steady, calm. I know. I've been where you are. Not as a mother, but as a sister. And I'm telling you, you're right to be scared. You're right to push. Don't stop calling. Don't stop asking questions. And if the police aren't moving fast enough, call the Sentinel Watch hotline. I'm sending you the number now. Who are they? People who give a damn. The woman calls the hotline. Within 30 minutes, the nearest Sentinel chapter is mobilized. 17 bikers fan out across the city. They canvass the area around the school. They talk to witnesses. They check security cameras. And 4 hours later, they find her. The girl is in a motel room 3 miles from her house, with a man she met online. A man who lied about his age, who convinced her to run away. She's unharmed, scared, embarrassed, but alive. The police arrest the man. The girl is reunited with her mother. Emma gets a call the next day. Thank you, the mother says. She's crying. Thank you for listening. That's what we do, Emma says. And it is. That's what they do. 10 years after that night at Rita's place, Dylan is 18. He's starting college. Criminal justice major. He still volunteers at the hotline. Still wears the patch. Emma is 24. She's been promoted. Now she trains other advocates, teaches them how to talk to families, how to navigate trauma, how to listen. Reaper is 63. His beard is fully white now. His hands shake a little when he holds a coffee cup, but he still rides, still leads the Iron Sentinels, still answers the call when a kid needs help. One evening, the 3 of them sit on the porch of the clubhouse. The sun is setting, The sky is orange and purple and gold. You ever think about what would have happened if I hadn't found you that night? Dylan asks. Reaper doesn't answer right away. Then, yes. What do you think? I think your sister would be one of the missing. I think you'd have spent your whole life looking for her. And I think the world would be a little darker. Dylan nods. I think about it too. Emma leans back in her chair. I don't. Both men look at her. I don't think about what could have happened, she says. Because it didn't. I'm here. Dylan's here. And because of that, 137 other kids are here too. That's what I think about. She's right. The past is the past. The what-ifs don't matter. What matters is what they did with the second chance. And what they'll keep doing. Because the work isn't finished. It never is. There are still kids out there. Still people watching. Still predators hiding in plain sight. But there are also people paying attention. People who listen. People who act. And that makes all the difference. Dylan stands, stretches, looks out at the parking lot where 14 motorcycles once sat in the rain. I'm gonna head out, he says. Drive safe, Reaper says. Always do. Emma walks him to his car. Before he gets in, she hugs him. Love you, doofus, she says. Dylan grins. Love you too. He drives home. The streets are quiet. The night is clear. And somewhere, maybe in a diner parking lot, maybe on a street corner, maybe in a school hallway, a kid is scared. A kid is alone. A kid is hoping someone will listen. And because of what happened 10 years ago, there's a good chance someone will. That's the legacy. Not the headlines. Not the news coverage. Not the awards or recognition. But the listening. The caring. The refusal to look away. That's what Dylan started when he walked 4 hours in the rain. That's what Reaper continued when he crouched down and said, "Win." That's what Emma carries forward every time she answers the phone and says, "I've been where you are." And that's what continues. Every day. Every call. Every kid who comes home. One listener at a time. One action at a time. One life at a time. Because in the end, that's all it takes. Someone who gives a damn.